Hello. Look, first and foremost, thank you. For what? Because you have no idea how much of a motivator you are to this show. Without you, there is no show. So, thank you a ton. Now, this is for those who want and who can do more. You have options in the description below. Pick the one that fits you best. May I suggest the membership program only because it is the most financially sustainable way to support the channel. But if you don't like which section to pick, then you can simply donate to the channel's Buy Me a Coffee page. Now listen, and that's the most important message, is that by you watching the video from start to finish and pressing the like button, helps me a ton with the algorithm, so do not minimize that. But regardless of how you spin it, you're amazing, and and that's it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, look, I know what you're thinking. You are Darrell Brooks exhausted. Listen to me. It's almost over. It's almost over. C'est presque fini. Écoute-moi. We're almost there. We just have a few things left to finish, but it's almost over. Listen, Darrell Brooks went on March 22nd to his pre-trial hearing. Oh God, I threw away the paper. Without my notes, I'm blind. So I think it's March 22nd. I don't quite remember, but it was it was last week. And there's a few bits and pieces that we can deduct from what we saw. And I'm going to give you my spin on it. And I think it's going to be interesting. And then stick around to the end of the video. I just want to make a quick, simple announcement. But that being said, for those who are new here, I'm Alistair Nzekio, and this is my point of view. Let's go. Let's get started.
I have his case calendar going forward.
After speaking with Mr. Brooks, he would like to set this for a trial, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's look for a trial and final pretrial date. Looking at the court's calendar, Mr. Corr, I don't see you have anything scheduled on July 10th. Is that because you're not available or?
No, I'm out the week before, but I'm back the 10th.
The court would have availability July 10th if that works for counsel.
That would work for me.
That's fine.
All right, July 10th for jury trial. And then let's see if we can pick a final pretrial date about a month before that.
Okay. How's June 7th at 9 o'clock?
I cannot do the 7th. I'm gone essentially from the 7th until the 20th.
Okay. How's the Monday of that week? June 5th at 9 o'clock?
That's fine.
Okay.
That worked for me.
All right. The next date will be June 5th at 9 o'clock for final pretrial.
All right.
I'm sorry, I forget. Mr. Brooks, do you want to be produced for everything? So for that date, or do you want to do that over Zoom?
I would like to do that Zoom.
Okay. Are you currently at Dodge or are you someplace else?
I'm at Dodge State.
All right. I'll just ask, I normally like I'm old. It used to be that people stayed there 6 weeks. I don't know what the current thing is. So I'll just ask Mr. Hampton and Mr. Rakestraw, if Mr. Brooks is moved to a different institution, if you can let us know. I'll ask my deputy court clerk today to just notify Dodge. Sometimes they can be a little prickly in like if we send them a notice today, they may send something back saying it's too far in advance. Let us know 2 or 3 weeks in advance. We'll try and stay on top of that. I'm going to ask Mr. Hampton and Mr. Rakestraw to monitor that. I don't have a permanently assigned deputy court clerk, so the young lady who's here today may not be here tomorrow. So I don't want this to fall through the cracks. All right, June 5th, 9 o'clock for final pretrial. July 10th at 9 a.m. for trial. Motions in limine, witness lists, and jury instructions. I apologize. I don't know if Mr. Corr, you already filed those documents.
I did.
All right. So if there's any additional defense motions, those would be due by the final pretrial date, as well as any witness lists for the defense. I will require that both parties review discovery materials in the event they believe a necessary witness for either party requires independent representation, that they make arrangements for that representation through the Office of the State Public Defender. Anything else we need to talk about this afternoon, Mr. Hampton Rakestraw? Mr. Core?
No, thank you.
All right, Mr. Brooks, good luck to you. Try and stay safe. Try and make good decisions. We'll see you June 5th, 9 o'clock for final pretrial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, there's a few things that are extremely important here, and I picked it up. I don't know if you did. The first thing is, I'll go with the most obvious. He requested to not be present in person for the June 5th. He requested it to be done via Zoom. That's pretty significant because if you combine that statement with his demeanor, which is very poised, very calm, extremely submissive, not agitated, he's not even in a mood to seduce, he's not in the mood to charm, he's not even interested at all. That combined with the fact that he wants to be at a Zoom meeting gives me a little bit window on his mental state, which is that of a depressive state. Now, Brooke is an alleged narcissist, and that's my opinion. And a lot of the times they go through multiple ebb and flow. And so if they don't get a dosage, if they don't get a dopamine rush of accolades, of like praises, they go through depression because they're forced to face the mirror, and their mirror to themselves is ugly. They do not like who they are. They think they are weak. They have a perception of inferiority, and they absolutely loathe to look at that in the mirror. It makes them feel less than. And I believe the fact that he's been at Dodge in the dungeon, he hasn't had the opportunity to feed. So he is depleted, and he is going through a massive ebb, an absolute big ebb, because even in his posture, his slouch, he's unkempt, by the way. So there's no effort in terms of his hygiene. He's uninterested. He's non-combative. He is extremely submissive. He's very puerile, but he's not making a scene. Now, any chance a narcissist will take to spin a story, they will. And any opportunity they have to be in front of people to posture, they will. Now, if you do look in the room, it looks kind of empty, right? And March 22nd, that was a weekday. I think it was early in the morning. Maybe the courthouse is empty there. Maybe there was no one there for him to prompt him up to start spinning and to start to create an image of like, yeah, I'm cool, I don't need this. Do you know what I'm saying? I think this truly is his true self right there. This is who he is, and this is how he is over there at Dodge. A sad, depressive monster. Which, quite frankly, who's any objections? Any objections? Anyway, so that's one. Two, I do want to point out to the fact that of how he has his hand closed. Now listen, one thing is for sure, for being in a lot of meetings with plenty of people, body language is so subconscious. And, poker face is very important. This is the body language of someone who is not there mentally. He is not only not there, like intimidated. It's almost as if he's recoiling to allow his lawyer to take over. I don't know what the conversation was behind closed doors, but I suspect as a defense lawyer, as a public defender, being paid by public funds, I think it's in the lawyer's best interest not only to defend his defendant properly, but for his paycheck, darling. Please, he has vacation and family to feed. I can't fault him for that, right? So maybe the conversation they've had in the back allows Darrell to be so recoiled, or he just gave up. And from my experience, I will go with the latter. he just gave up. Darrell Brooks is in an ebb, and he's not able to get out of that ebb because he's not able to feed. And therefore, he doesn't have any interest. Because the only thing that interests him is the ability to feed, is to create a story. There's no story to spin. I think the reality of the verdict has sunk in. And I think he understands there's no point in spinning anything. And so there's no need to fight. And I think he understands also that nobody cares. And therefore, there's really no need to fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't either act out in the near future, or if he doesn't go into a tantrum, or maybe watch. Oh, I said the word. Look, I don't care. I don't care. I'm too tired today. Right? So that is very interesting to me. I mean, when I saw this footage, I was saying to myself, I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to someone who's excited to get out of his dungeon, someone who's excited to be like, oh my God, I cannot wait to pounce on Erika Patterson. Because, this is the case that involves Erika Patterson. And, of all the cases, of all the charges that he was charged with during the Waukesha trial, that's the one he wanted the Judge Darrell to drop. That was the one he was like, no, you're going to drop that. That was the one that he was harped on. That was the one that he was like, get me out of that. That was the one. And look at the energy he's giving, right? It just doesn't compute, doesn't connect. It doesn't connect. But I've seen this before. I'll tell you the story if you stick around. But I've seen this before very recently. Look, the crazy thing about this Darrell Brooks thing is, number one, that's it. to tell you how uneventful his court situation was. That's it, darling. There is nothing more. He was so puerile, the cameras were bored. There was no need to do anything. People go on the Darrell Brooks show for the antics. And there was no antics to give because he is tired. He's depressed. He's uninterested. He doesn't want it. Yeah, this was fairly easy. And so one big question falls into play here. And is he going to represent himself? He's not. First of all, obviously he's not, because he has a lawyer there. He chose to go to trial with the lawyer. And, he might do the same thing as he did during the Waukesha trial, allow the lawyers to do all the work and then eventually fire them, and etc., etc. But this is where I disagree. I disagree because the Waukesha parade, he was feeding until he just was fat. The amount of ego that man was receiving, ego meaning attention, was astronomical. He actually felt like a star. That's why he was all in that character of sovereign citizen. He didn't actually believe in it. Actually, he didn't quite care. They don't care about anything, narcissist, besides themselves. It served the purpose of feeding his ego. And even around the end, the whole I have mental illness, help me, that was just thought through right at the last minute. That was not something that came up with, that they came up with, the mom and etc., that they came up with earlier. Not at all. That came about because the conversation about his mental health became a big topic. And they harped on that. They created a story around that. They spun the story around the whole mental health situation. Because he turned out to find out that he wasn't really sick. I mean, not sick enough to cause that. It turned out to be bogus. Yeah. So he doesn't have any ammo. Which actually proves the point. Isolation is the best remedy for narcissism. It dociles them out. You don't feed them what they want or what they need, and they become as harmless as a pebble because they don't know what to do with themselves. Yeah, he's not going to represent himself. He's not going to do it. And even if he comes to his senses, and say, you know what? Oh, wait a minute. I'm Darrell Brooks, darling. He doesn't speak like that. Come on. Imagine if he does. I'm Darrell Brooks, darling. So funny. No, because that's the case that involves Erika Patterson, and he will not want to mess that up. What? Erika Patterson defied me in the Waukesha trial? Erika Patterson talked, ratted me out? Erika Patterson is the reason why I ran across this parade? I'd be damned if I let Erika Patterson win this. No. He's not taking that chance. No. No. He's going to go use a few brain cells and allow the lawyer to do his best to reduce charge because he wants to get a win. One win with her. He doesn't care about the victims of the parade. Please, he doesn't give a crap about them. No. His focus is on Erika Patterson. Even the other trial when he shot at his nephew, he doesn't care about that. Doesn't give a crap about that. This is the one he cares about. Because she's the one who said no. Oh boy. Anyway, so July 10th is a July trial. People are like, oh my God, not again, Darrell Brooks. Listen to me. It's almost over. And June 5th is a pre-trial, which is going through Zoom. I'm not going to follow that. So June 5, you can just forget that. June is Brian Koberger Day, because that's when we're going to figure it out. Mr. Berger with the eyebrows. And then April is Sarah Boone with the suitcase. Hey, look. I know this is a very short video because there was nothing to report. Yeah. I came back from work. And long story. Came back from work and I was like, okay, I can squeeze in some time. I came in here, I did a little bit of research and I realized that's it. That's it. So, okay, but there's a little bit more. I've contacted Erika Patterson. Oh God, please don't yell at me. I'm going to tie the loose ends, and I want her to come on PACT Nation during our content live for this month. Oh God, is it the 29th? Really, Alistair? Really? Oh, perfect. Friday. For Friday. Content live on Friday. No, she'll never agree. Please, it's too late. It's too short notice. Look, listen. Yeah, so that's the plan, is to try to get her for the content live if she can make it. I do have a list of questions. I'm not going to talk about Darrell Brooks. Not that much. I want it to be more about her, and I want it to be more of the story that we haven't heard before. I really want it to be exclusive. New stories, new questions. I don't want to ask the same old questions. And I want to do I don't know if I'm going to do a good job. I'll do my best to do a good job. I got the questions ready. Am I going to preface her with the questions? No. I'm going to tell that they're respectful and they're worded correctly. And then I still have the list of your questions that you put together. I classified them into categories. And I'm going to ask them, and I took those categories and I formulated a question with that. And then I'm going to ask her that question to that's a hard word, to condense your questions into one, if I can. And that's that. All right. So quick video today. Let's go to my Let's Talk. For those who are new here, Let's Talk is where I kind of just tell your story, or I share a little bit about my day, etc., etc. It's nothing fancy. It's just me talking. Some more. My God. Can I tell you something? And let me tell you something. First, I want to say thank you to the people who sent me an email and checking in on me. I'm not gonna out you. I didn't ask permission. Thanks for you guys to write to me and check in to see how I was doing. I got your email while I was in the ER. Olympia got very sick. Olympia is my daughter. She got very, 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 very ill. It was a scare moment. Listen to me very closely. And you know what? It made me grow. I grew. I grew. Not in height, silly. No, I grew as a person. Let me tell you how. I didn't even know I had it in me, but there it is. So, daycare started last week. And it was, first of all, it was a blessing. Not having the baby for 8 hours. First of all, the first thing we did, so Chris dropped her off early. Waking up to no cries. I was like, look, my eyeballs open. Oh, bird chirping. Wow. I got up. I made coffee. It was stellar great. And then it was like, okay, get as much done before the day end, before we have to go pick her up. It was the best thing ever. But listen, I missed her a ton. The separation anxiety, I didn't even think we would go through it, even though it was very enjoyable that we didn't have the baby and we got a lot done. I don't even know how people, listen, government, Congress, daycare needs to be part of the Constitution. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Daycare should be part of this darn Constitution. These are future taxpayers. Crazies. Anyway, look at me getting mad for no reason, but it's very upsetting. Upsetting because we are the lucky ones who can afford daycare. Daycare is not affordable. It's not an affordable expense. Anyway, it got us to put our brain cells together and go back to work. Like, what do you think we did? Watch a movie? No. We slept longer, we enjoyed a few hours of coffee, and we worked uninterrupted. Thank God. Like, we're being productive members of society. And anyway, that's not even the point. The point is that, when daycare started, my mother-in-law said, look, get ready to be sick for a whole year. And I'm like, okay, fine, Mom. Okay. But please, let me enjoy my silence for a little longer. She got sick. Thursday was, oh my God. Thursday was, she's in daycare Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday, we pick her up. And then, I spend a lot of family time. If you don't know, now you know. And, so Thursday, we want to have dinner with my mother-in-law. She loves to feed us. We arrive, and Olympia was just off. And I was looking at her, and I was like, my baby, you're not as joyful, laughy as you usually are. You're just very quiet. Why are you so quiet, fam? Maybe you're tired. Maybe it's all this interaction with the kids. No. We ate. She had no food. We got in the car, and it was diarrhea galore. Please, we're grown up. I can say that. In her car seat, it was everywhere, and I realized that I looked and I said, okay, well, it happens. And that night, on Thursday night, she had maybe like 10 bouts of diarrhea within 2 hours. 10. You think I'm kidding? I counted. 1, because you have to count. You count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 hours. The baby is crying, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, this is not normal. What is this? What is going on? So we have to be careful as a scientist. Diarrhea is contagious. It's a transmissible. It's fluid. So I was like, okay, we have to clean up, but be careful where you put your hands, Chris, because you don't want to get sick. Chris gets sick on Friday. And I'm sitting there with literally a grown-up and a baby with a stomach virus. I'm sitting there on Friday and I'm trying to focus. And I'm not a good multitasker. So the first thing I did, and I said, anyway, Friday morning, when we woke up, first of all, we didn't sleep. Olympia did not sleep. I wake up and I look at Olympia and I'm sitting there and I go, oh, my baby, my darling, you are not well. So I call the doctor, of course, immediately, pediatrician. I call the doctor, and this is where I realized that I'm a different person. Honestly, I was calm. Normally, in situation where my space is endangered, I'm gonna put that in quote. I'm not calm. I'm very impulsive, and I'm not nice. But no, I was very composed and very cerebral, and not impulsive. I was so surprised. And I spoke to the doctor. The doctor didn't have any time for me, of course, because she's busy. She has a whole practice. I kept quiet and I was patient. I called my sister. I called my mother. I called everybody I could call. I said, listen, if one of you guys don't give me an answer in the next 5 minutes or something, I'm going to the ER. Please. My mother-in-law then said, the doctor was supposed to call me back. My mother-in-law says, go weigh her. And I'm sorry, my mom, not my mother-in-law. My mom called me and my mom was like, diarrhea kills babies like that. And she said dehydration is a monster. So she's like, go take her weight. And I said, Mom, you're right. Dehydration is a killer. So I go and I put her on a scale. Honey, she dropped 10% of her body weight in not even 48 hours. I didn't look at that moment. I was like, wow, we're going to the ER. Get to the ER. Olympia throws up all over the floor. And the thing that was so disturbing, not disturbing, like now, as I keep telling you this, it flashes to my eyes and it's disturbing. But at the time, I was calm. I was scarily calm, very cerebral. Like I was processing without skipping a beat. She threw up. I saw, I managed, I handled. She looked at me. Like a stare, like a. She looked at me, and I looked at her back, and I smiled, and I winked. Yeah, I smiled and I winked. And then she hugged. This is a 7-month-old baby, by the way. Okay, this is not a 2-year-old. This is a 7-month-old kid. She just lunged and hugged me. Like she lunged and hugged me and put her head down here because she was so tired. Vomit everywhere. Please, you think I cared? I didn't care at that moment. Although I made sure not to put in, be careful not to touch your mouth, the eyes, at least there. Anyway. Yeah, and so I told the nurse, I said, I would like a private room, please, because it's an infant. I don't want to be in a general population with grown-ups. Please. Said, yeah, we'll get you a room. So we go to a room. I clean her up. I try to cheer her up. I'm waiting forever. Oh my God. I can't look. This is where I found out that I was a changed man, because in normal circumstances, I'm not. Listen, in a high stress environment, when certain things are threatened, I'm not a nice person. Do you understand? I'm the one who will go out there and start yelling at the doctors. Where is the help? What is going on? You're taking too damn long. My spouse here is dying. What is wrong with you? I'm that one. I mean, no shame about that. I'm the one who will be in your face. If I have a loved one over there on a deathbed or something and stuff is not done appropriately, I'm calling you out. I'm not even, please. Oh, please. I was so surprised that I was composed and collected. Composed and collected, and I waited like a normal person. Unbelievable. Like my condition did not take over at all. And I was just focused on making sure she was okay. And so the doctor comes in. Oh God, here we go. Doctor comes in. I'm only laughing because, inside, of course, I was absolutely worried, and I wanted to be careful not to panic in front of Olympia. And the doctor was talking in circles. And you know what? And this is not a thing with the American healthcare that really annoys me. No, give me the best option for my child. Stop trying to sell me, upsell me. Stop it. I had to tell him, stop. What is the best situation that you will recommend based on what you see? I can't believe this. Option A, but this is more expensive. I looked at him like, I looked at him with my stare. I looked at him and I said, what is the best option based on your observation? Like, it doesn't matter how much it cost. Really? Anyway, that was one time I was about to be like, next doctor, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. You know? It was anyway. Look. You know, he gave her Pedialyte. But, you know, I learned something there, too. He was trying his best. He said he looked at her ears. He checked the stomach. He's like, we can't really tell anything from an infant. And I looked at him, and I was looking at him, and I said, what are you telling me? That there's nothing you can do? I just give her water. I looked at him, and I said, honey, she dropped 10% of her body weight in less than 48 hours. I'm in the emergency room. Give her water? Excuse me. If I'm not even a pediatrician and I know that's not the right remedy. No. Pedialyte? Maybe. I don't know. IV? Dehydration is the problem, right? Actually, he mentioned the IV afterwards, and that's when he brought up the whole thing, like it's expensive and that stuff. Anyway, Olympia threw up. She was throwing up, and then the thing that was so like heart wrenching was when she lethargic. Honey, listen. You don't know what a lethargic baby is until you see one. Lethargic, not a baby who's bored. Lethargic. Lethargic. Okay? Now that took me out. I think at that moment I held my breath. Chris was not there yet. I held my breath. And this is where I saw your messages when you emailed me. And that's when I was like, okay. I was not in the mental space to speak to my mom. Nobody. Because if I spoke to someone on the phone, I would have broken apart. I was not in the space to speak to no one. So I just held my composure and stared. I stared at her stomach to make sure she was breathing. I stared at her face, and she would look at me and try to touch my lip. And I didn't even care about getting an infection. I was like, I don't care. Oui, ma chérie. Oui. Anyway, so they came in. When Chris came, I gave him the gist. And I said to Christopher, I said, you know, like inside, I want to be a raging monster. I want a raging monster. I've only seen a doctor one time. I've seen a nurse one time. I've been here 6 hours. This baby throwing up all over the place. I was like, I'm so close from just storming into a room and grabbing a nurse. And Chris was like, please don't. But, you know, to you nurses, listen, it's not even your fault. This is just because I'm a concerned parent with the condition. And what that condition is, I have... Anyway. I was boiling over. I had to keep it all in. My adrenaline was hot. And I kept it all together. It was very quiet. Anyway, so Chris comes in, and then the doctor finally comes in, and I look at him, and I said, "Okay, well, IV. When are we going to start this transfusion, doctor? It's been 6 hours. 6? Hold on. 5 hours, same difference. It's been 5 hours. Where's the transfusion? I'm ready. Come on. Put the IV in. My daughter is throwing up and shitting liquids, and she's not getting any liquids in. I'm not playing this game." And at that moment, I was ready to pounce if he gave me any other answer other than a solution. And then he said, okay, no. So we're gonna give her one of those. I forgot the name of the medicine. It's something that's like anti-nausea, but it also soothes the stomach. And so he gave her that. Heart wrenching because she was crying. She was not interested. And then she kind of collapsed on my arms again for being so tired. And then 20 minutes later, we made a bottle and she drank it all and she kept it. Listen, that's not even the end of the story. Hold on. How's the time? I don't care about the time. Anyway, so she drank the bottle. We got home. We were like, cheers. We were taking pictures. My adrenaline went down. The doctor was like, good job. And I was looking at him like, yes, yes, yeah, yes, yes. And so we go home, super excited. We were literally skipping. And by the way, Olympia started giggling. She's a giggle baby. She's a laughter baby. My household, we laugh all the time. My in-laws, my in-laws and my family, we're a laughing family. We laugh all the time. So she laughs all the time. And as soon as she ate those 7 ounces, she was like giggling and laughing. And we were having a good time over there in the hospital bed. And the doctor and the nurses came. They were like, oh, look at that. And we were laughing. And my adrenaline went down. And I was just like, oh. What am I talking about? That's not even the story. Listen, when this is story, it was like, we get home, we go to bed. She's super exhausted. Wake up in the morning. She's hungry. She eats 5 ounces. And we were like, perfect. Yes, have all the food you want, my love. And then she relapsed. She relapsed. Not to bore you, we're in and out of hospital until, she's still not okay. This is a baby who will eat 7 ounces per bottle, including hard food, like porridge. 3 bottles a day with porridge. That baby is gulping food. And now all she eats is 3 ounces? At the maximum 7 ounces a day? And like, they're tired of me calling. I'm calling. I'm like, what is it? I said, put some IV in her. And they're like, no, she's having the ounces. They're doctors, right? They know more than me. But I've Googled the hell of that. I Googled the hell out of that. They did some check to see what kind of virus it was. Came out negative for everything. I don't know what that is. That daycare is a cesspool of stuff. I don't know what that, and they don't know what it is. So it's not a norovirus. It's not COVID. It's not MRSA. It's not RSV. It's not any of that. So yeah. The doctors are like, good luck. And I'm sitting here home with a baby that I can't stop staring because I'm analyzing every move, and I'm like, that's it? That's all you're gonna eat? That's all she eats. She gained a little bit of her weight back though, and then I'm happy. And she has wet diapers. She stopped having tears. She stopped having wet diapers. Like, it was a serious deal. It was a big deal. Oh my God. It was like everything at once. Like someone said, everything at once. Like one of you, like you said that. Yeah, everything at once. My mom situation, my Olympia situation, work situation. Look, work has not slowed down, and we're entering a ramp up. Now, this is spring. This is where people go out and exercise. We're going to ramp up. Look, I've given up of complaining. I don't complain normally in my real life. I don't complain normally. I just shut up and do it. But I'm telling you a story. Yeah. It's just everything at once. But it's okay. What am I going to do? I don't have options. What's my option? I'm not a billionaire. I didn't win the lottery. So no, I have to work. I have kids to feed. I have school to plan for. And I have a retirement to plan. I am not working forever, okay? Yeah. I don't think so. Anyway, that's it. I've been running on high cortisol for the whole week.